Welcome to drawing class. So today we're going to concentrate on shape, like this, the distinctive shapes that make up objects, and value, which is the lights and darks, as we do a shaded still life drawing. So stay tuned and I'll show you how. Okay, for this project you're going to need the following: your sketchbook or a piece of white paper, and I will provide the big pieces of white paper for you if you're at school. You'll need a drawing pencil. An eraser is helpful, the shading tool, which I also have for you at school, and in this case we have, it's called a Lyra graphite crayon, but it's like a big fat pencil with a very thick dark lead, and it does a very cool thing because it's water soluble. Stay tuned and I'll show you that. I'm going to work today on the larger sheet of paper, and I am going to do a still life, and you will need the still life to look at. In Google Classroom, I will put two pictures. One is in color and one is black and white, and you can decide which one you'd rather work from. In all cases, we're really looking at the shapes of the objects and the lights and darks. So let's get started. I lightly sketched in my shapes because it is so difficult to draw and talk at the same time. And I also have them set up across the room so I really can look at them. And this picture, I chose it for a reason. It has a very distinctive shape. It's not like every other picture you've ever drawn normally. So really look at the shapes, and as you look at them, draw what your eyes see. So there's a little lip here, comes down, this goes in, and then it comes out almost like a round ball. Quite unusual. Same thing over here. This line at the top, is it straight across or does it have a little curve? I see a little curve. Okay, that curve's there. Down in a little bit. Again, the rounded shape that comes around. And when I go to draw the handle, I am actually looking at this negative space inside here to get it right. It's a good trick that I taught you earlier that you make use of to help you as you go along. And it's a double line, not just a single line. And this part comes down a little bit. I made a little bobble there, and I can either erase it, or when I do my shading, I can kind of fix that. So right here, this kind of fades into the dark, but over here, I see there's a little kind of a foot that comes down and curves around. Okay, now I'm going to do the bowl. The bowl also has a distinctive shape. The line at the top is a curve. I think I'll put that in first. Okay, I see another line where the light is shining on it, and I shone a bright light on this when I did it, so we would get some lights and darks. So if you are doing a still life at home, it's really helpful to shine a bright light on it. Now the shape comes in, curves down, and in. Again, over here, down and in. And I don't see all of the bottom there because there's a piece of cloth that curves around like this. And right here it fades into darkness. Now, when you go to do the fruit in the bowl, oftentimes when kids draw the fruit in the bowl, they make it way too small. So figure out some landmarks. How much of this pot does that apple take up? And do I see the whole apple? I just see this curve. I don't see the bottom part of the apple. So about like that. So I'm going to put a little line here, a little line here, and I am going to make my apple reach from there to there. Okay, I see another little shape here. Again, I'm looking at shape. I'm not deciding, oh, I'm going to draw an apple. I am just drawing what I see. And back behind here, I see a little pear sticking up with a stem. Over here, another pear. What happens? It goes down around like that. There's a little space in between, and I've got my shapes. Now I see the line hop over, disappearing behind. I'm going to add my stem here. Look what happens on this apple. You see a little dark spot, and you see a stem that goes over like that. So now I have my basic shapes, and I am going to finish this off. I forgot this line. I'm going to work on my shading. If you're at home and you don't have a Lyra pencil, you can do what we did before, where you lay some of the dark color on, or I can also try to get you a pencil. But if you have that Lyra pencil, a wonderful thing to do right now is to go over your lines, really nice and dark. And you might add a little bit of shadow, but stay tuned. I'll go over these lines and show you how it works in fast motion. Okay, as you can see, I've gone over my shapes with my heavy pencil. I've colored it in the areas where I see the shadow, like here and here, the shadow there. And the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to use some water on this. And I forgot to tell you, you will also need a cup of water and a paintbrush for this. And the wonderful thing about these Lyra pencils is when you apply water to them, they actually start to dissolve, and you can use that for your shading. So I'm going to go over my lines. I'm going to make sure I'm referring to my photograph because I want to remember where the shading is. And you notice as I follow along, I am following the shape of the pot. I'm just not going like that. The pot is rounded, so when I use my brush strokes, I actually make sure that I am using them, I'm doing them in a rounded way because I want this pot to look rounded. Value, not only, which is the lights and the darks, not only makes your picture look much more interesting, but it gives form to your pot. It makes your pot look more 3D. I see a little bit of shadow here. It fades out here. So what I'm going to do is clean off my brush, put a little bit of water here, and fade it out gently. And I'm going to have to do that here too. They're not some sudden stops and starts. Over here on the pot, part of it's on the handle, part of it's in shadow, and part of it the light catches. Which part? If it starts to seem dark, go back and rinse your brush and add more water here and there. So stay tuned. Just so you don't have to spend your whole time watching me, I'm going to put this on fast forward so you can see how it's done. So here we are. You notice I've added the color, the water, not the color, and occasionally I had to go back and add a little more shading. These Lyra pencils are really fun and rewarding to use, but they're very expensive, so please take care of them. And when you're done, make sure you return them to the cart. Now, you need one final touch, and that's to sign your name. And don't forget to take a picture of it and send it to me. I can't wait to see it.